Hey everybody, it's Leeroy from Leeroy Gaming, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the Crusader system for the Swarm That Walks Mythic Pathway. Now in this video we're going to be looking at everything from how the mechanic works, the unique general, the units, the events, and some very important notes about the Crusade system of the Swarm That Walks that you need to know before you even get started. Now, this video is going to focus only on the Crusade system, the general, and the units. So if you're looking for a complete guide to the Swarm That Walks, make sure to watch my ultimate guide to the Swarm That Walks, which will include information that you find here, as well as a lot more information about how to unlock this path, the story elements, and much more. Now, as with all my videos, I'm going to have extensive timestamps in the description below, so you can get to whichever section interests you the most. If you do enjoy this content, make sure to like, subscribe, smash that notification bell, and most importantly, make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you'd like to see in future videos as well. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the Crusade mechanics for the Swarm That Walks. Now, first and foremost, it is very important to note that you will not get access to the Swarm That Walks Crusade mechanic until Act 5. Also, and this is very important, once you activate the Swarm That Walks mechanic, everything you have done prior to this goes away. Meaning, any generals you got, they're gone. Any units that you got are all gone. Any improvements you made to the little outposts are gone. Any improvements you made to Dresden are completely gone. What this means is that if you are planning to do the Swarm That Walks element, I would honestly do as little as possible in Acts 3 just to get through it and clear the areas that you need to clear for the quests, and then just forget about it. Because once we hit Act 5 here, everything's going to change. And we're going to start by looking at the unique general you're going to have. So you will notice that when you are doing the Swarm That Walks pathway, your original general will be replaced with this general right here. And while it may only be one general, he is extremely powerful. So you're going to notice right off the bat, he starts at level 15, no matter what you had before. 54 power. And +4 army size. So you can have up to 7 units here. 40 movement, and then 20 morale, 9 army strength, and 3 army perception. You also get a ton of traits. Do note also that infirmary size is 5250, which isn't bad. Here's your Master of Maneuver level 4. That's why you can have up to 7 units. You get 2 tiers of intimidation. You get Favored Enemy at Large here. You get Tactician 1, 2, and 3. So basically you have numerous units that will get to act extra at the beginning. Fearsome Formation. So this is nice. All units attacking the target unit for 1 round will become frightened. So this is an ability. You can have other abilities like Overwhelming Shout, Weakening Trap, Stunning Trap, Ice Bomb. The 2 that I find the most useful are Haste and Slow. I like those a lot. Stone Call AoE damage isn't bad either, just like Ice Bomb. Get Penetrating Strike, Enervation, Reduction of Losses, only 1 tier of that. Caravan Master, which is nice, that +15 movement. And Heroic Officers, all units have a +5 bonus to combat morale. So a very good hero. And he's also going to, no matter what you do, going to baseline have at least 3 types of units, and we will go over them in combat as well. But you're going to have Locust Swarm, you're going to have Spider Swarm, and you're going to have Vescivore Swarm. So those are baseline. But you will also have 2 different opportunities in Act 5 from what I found. Either choose to get additional units or buff your units. And we will go ahead and look at those opportunities right now before we go into combat and show you off the units. So shortly after you take over Dresden once again at the beginning of Act 5, you're going to head back to the Citadel, either the first or second time you go there. When you do, it's going to proc some events, including one that's going to be related to getting your units. So let's take a look at those. So you're going to see your cultists come. And you're going to say, did you summon me, mistress? And then you can ask, you can say, I didn't summon you. And they said, not with your words, no, but you're thinking of us, loyal swarm. You wish to discuss something with someone capable of speech. And then Discari chimes and says, how very mortal of you. Once the similar one truly embraces her swarm, she will no longer need to speak to it in words. And you can ask them, what exactly do I want to discuss? And more servants of the false Eider are starting to see the light. One after another, we leave the swarm and join yours. How do you wish to make of us? Will you leave us as we came to you, miserable pieces of mortal flesh, ready to fight and die in your name? Or will you grant us bliss by making us food for your beautiful children? And so you have a couple options. You can feed them to the swarm, and if you choose that, you're going to basically get more of one of the 3 Viscabar options. So you can choose to feed them to the insects, and if you do, you'll have a choice to feed them to the locusts, to the tiny spiders, or turn them into Vescavars of various levels. And if you do want to do that, you can click here, I've made a decision, I will feed the cultists to insects. And then you have to choose. Now, it's very important, if you choose these, you will get more of the specific units, but also the unit will get a specific power. Let's go over those really quick. Some are more useful than others. If you choose to get the 600 spiders, you get Chaos Hammer, but this is not so great because it's talking about doing a bunch of damage to all non-chaotic units. But most of the demons you're going to be fighting are chaotic. So this is my least favorite one, but if you want it, you can choose it. You can choose get Locust, the 850 Locust, and then the Locusts get Bestow Curse, which is a one-time use ability per battle, and it's a -4 penalty to attacks and saving throws for a certain target. So that's actually pretty good. That's the one I chose. Or you can go with the WOTR Swarm. You get 250 of those, and if you do, they get the Dispel ability that you can cast on one of your units or one of their units. So those are the ones that you have for the feeding options. Now, alternatively, you can let them stay in the army, and it'll get you 1,250 cultists of the swarm that get recruited. And they're not the craziest, but there's a lot of them. So we'll take a look at those in combat. Now, let's start by looking at the 3 initial units that we have here. The first ones are the Locust Swarms. And so for these, they fly, they're mythic creatures. They have 18 AC with 2 damage reduction, 76 hit points. And for them, they do 1 to 10 damage each. So if you pick the humanoids to join your army, you're only going to get 150 of these. Still not bad, actually. The second units, they may look kind of similar, but they are slightly different. These are going to be the Spider Swarms. For them, they have 20 AC, 3 damage reduction, so a little bit more survivability, a lot more hit point, 162 hit points, and they do 1 to 11 damage. And then the third types are going to be your WOTR Swarm. They have the most health, 174, 21 AC, 2 damage reduction, and do 4 to 14 health. So the most powerful, but they are also the least numerous of units. And let's see kind of how they attack. So again, here are going to be the Locust Swarms. And then here, they're hard to see on the ground. They're the spiders. We're going to attack with those. They're very dramatically. And then finally, the WOTR Swarms. Again, it's kind of probably hard to see on the video, but they do have a unique look to them. Now, I also want to point out that the Locust Swarm does have a special ability. They have stunning attack. So as you notice here, I'm fighting, and they can actually stun the enemy, which is pretty awesome. The spiders have a special ability of web attack, which, for example, can make it so that the enemies can't run away. And the WOTR Swarm have, in addition to some resistances, They also have Devour Armor. So the Devour Armor effect, once you get it applied, you basically make it so the unit's attack apply a -3 penalty to damage reduction. So once you get that on there, if they do have damage reduction, it's going to be just lessened. So all three have kind of unique abilities. I would say that the Vescavar's damage reduction one is pretty darn powerful. And then the stun is probably the most powerful effect when you can get it off, because it's going to make the enemy lose turns. The spider attack isn't that impressive. All right, now I'm going to give you a chance to see what the humanoid elements are. Also here, as you can see, we have now an example of a battle with the actual hero. And you can cast your buffs and debuffs like haste. So there we go, we just casted haste on everybody. And you'll notice they have basically double moved this because of that. And the early attack feature. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the cultists as well. So the cultists, for them, they do have 10 AC, only 26 hit points, 2 to 7 damage. And they also have an ability sacrifice for the swarm. And on top of that, there's a ton of them. So let's take a look at that. So you'll notice they'll do a good number of damage just because there's so many of them as well. And the humanoids also have an ability called Sacrifice for the Swarm. And it says the unit deals 3d6 times unit number of physical damage to itself and restores 10d6 times unit hit points to target swarm unit. You can literally sacrifice yourself to heal, as you can see, up to, in this case, up to 74,000 health if they were missing the unit. So you can use them to do decent damage, actually, or sacrifice them to heal up the rest of your swarm. Now later in Chapter 5, when you conquer Is and come back to the Citadel, you're going to have another event here where some cultists will come and they're going to say, Mistress, the lookout of Is heard your voice. We have rejected a false idol and have come to worship you. We humbly beg you to accept us into our true swarm. And you can ask how you can help me. And they say they're skilled warriors. Most warriors of the false idol are bloodthirsty and destructive, but not very selective in choosing targets. They rush headlong into battle, but our arrows strike mages, priests, and sorcerers hidden behind the warrior shields. Give us the order and we will rain iron on the enemy spellcasters, and then we will bring you their heads pierced by arrows. So you have options. So again, you can either choose to accept them, and you're going to get 500 cultists of the swarms. So those are the ones we've already seen. But you also get 400 cultist cutthroats. And so for them, 14 AC, 91 health, 5 to 7 damage. That's their base effect. And we'll see how they look like in combat. Now, alternatively, you can also consume them for your own gain. And if you do, your actual main character is going to get an extra, a special feat that is called Sting of the Swarm, and it gives you an additional 2d6 extra damage to sneak attacks. And you also get 180 spiders, 250 locusts, and 75 Vescavars. Or you can feed them to your swarm. And if you do, let me show you what the options are. You get to either feed them to your spiders, and you get 700 spiders, and the spiders get absorption, which is the unit's next attack will deal 1d6 plus 3 times unit number damage to the target. So it's a one-use ability. Or you can get the same thing for your locust, same absorption, but 1,000 locusts. Or same ability to the Vescavar and 300 Vescavars. Now, let's take a look at what the additional new units look like. Alright, so we'll quickly look at the new units here. So the new units are Cultist Cutthroats. Now, what I don't quite understand is that the Ranger said that they're supposed to be Ranger units, but you don't get Ranger units. You get basically scimitar-wielding special forces, 18 AC, 92 health, and they have an ability called Rapid Strike. So they're still kind of specialists of sorts, but they're not rangers of arrows. So let's take a quick look at what they're going to look like in combat. So for comparison, here are the normal cultists of the swarm. So we'll go attack with them. Kill 12 of them, 1,000 damage. And here are your specialists. They're going to do a lot more damage. So that almost 5.7k there. Kill the whole stack there. So again, they're predicting here these 466 units are now going to do about 1,600 damage. And these guys right here are going to do over 5,000 damage. Now, as we noticed, they do have an ability that is that first strike. So let's see what first strike does, or if you can figure it out. So when testing, the first strike, I thought originally that it would let you attack them first if they attack you, but that's not how it works. So I'm not 100% sure how that works. And again, they are not rangers, don't let that fool you, but they do a lot of damage. So they are definitely an alternative to absorbing them into the swarm. Now I also want to point out, in addition to getting the units within these events, you will have one more opportunity or way of getting units. You will notice you cannot recruit them. Your recruitment, even though there's a button, they are null and void. However, in addition to having your normal call to arms ability that lets you summon units every 15 days, you also have a summon swarm ability you can do every 7 days. And this will always give you 30 locust swarm, 20 spider swarm, and 10 Vescavar swarm. So as long as you're not dying, you're able to increase your army a little bit by a little bit, but it's going to be basically mainly through these two abilities. And don't forget, when it comes to call to arms, if you want to get a bunch of a particular unit, make sure to just separate it from the army and cast call to arms on whatever unit when it's separate. So that way this random effect does not apply, and you can just get the maximum amount of points of whatever unit you care about the most. Alright guys, so that's everything you need to know about the Swarm That Walks when it comes to the Crusade system. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, if you did, make sure to like, subscribe, smash the notification bell, and very importantly, make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you like. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer. And also let me know what kind of videos for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous you would like to see next. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.